Okay guys, this is just a quick video to help you understand how ChatGPT thinks. It's for all of you out there who are interested in learning how exactly to talk to this tool. It's a perfect video for prompt engineers and prompt engineering beginners who just want to get a sense of how ChatGPT actually structures the different words based on its attention mechanism. And of course, I will give you the context that you need to know in order to understand this prompt. But basically here is the functionality of the specific prompt. I will give you straight ahead. You can copy paste this specific prompt anywhere. I will have it included in the description. The prompt is as simple as provide the following relative importance or relevance of the words in the input X based on the perceived estimates related to the exact values generated by your own attention mechanism. Here is input X, and in the words you can enter in pretty much any input that you are interested ChatGPT describing to you and describing what it considers important. And once you have your input, ChatGPT will basically break down based on its attention mechanism what it considers important. So that way you can actually test specific prompts that you have in mind. You can continue the conversation to help ChatGPT optimize your specific prompts for DaVinci based on specific temperature. Of course, we will cover that in other videos, so make sure you stay subscribed. But now let's quickly run down the context of what actually an attention mechanism is and why you need to understand that in order to understand why this prompt is super powerful if you want to be a prompt engineer. Okay guys, so here is the quick context that you need to be aware in order to understand what is going on. And again, in the future, I promise my videos will become a lot better. I'll have better animations, but for right now, I'm super excited just to share this prompt, and I just want to just quickly provide you with the context that you need in order to be able to understand it. We're in a fast-moving industry, so we need to get content out there pretty fast. So here is what is basically happening. So by now you should already know when it comes to neural networks, basically you have these connections inside of the brain of the network. The whole idea is that the algorithm is nothing but a prediction machine that basically tries to generate additional sequence to continue the sequence of symbol that you enter it. But the more neurons are out there, the more information it's trained on based on the specific model. Like an emergence of meaning and emergence of knowledge happens. It's far different from our human brains. It's not conscious. It's not, it doesn't necessarily understand context. What it has is like what it is. It's basically like a complex dictionary of words connected by meaning or sequences of symbols that it believes are weighted based on like other specific sequences of symbols that it was trained on. So basically it doesn't understand or have the emotional connection to what a cat is or what a dog is, but it connects the word cat to the word pet to the word dog to the word human in such a sequence that when you write like what is a dog, it says that well, basically a dog is a pet for humans or whatever. And what you need to know for this specific prompt is that in comparison to human brains, where you would basically, when you focus on a specific word, you think about when a sentence enters in both by your eyes or ears, and you start focusing on specific words, our brain still processes the information quite fast, but in comparison, these algorithms would basically instantly, let's say here we have the word car, here we have words, here we have words, here we have the word Volvo, here we have the word tires, here we have the word windshields, here we have the word can, but here we have the word, let's say, here we have the word dog, and more words, definitely. I know when I said it, but that will be here, okay. So it will basically have like this network of different words, and the way, like when you enter in a specific prompt, it looks at all of these words, but it doesn't necessarily check only the specific word. It also checks bubbles of words or words that this specific word is connected to. In this case, the bubble of car like would be connected to Volvo, would be connected to Mustang, it would be connected to tires, to windshields, etc., etc., with specific strength of the connection. But immediately when it checks car, for example, if your prompt is write me a marketing about Mustang, about the car Mustang, it will also immediately check the bubble of marketing and the words that marketing is connected to. So this is what you need to understand, is that the moment you enter in your prompt, all of the potential relationships about specific bubbles of words and the relationship between one bubble and the other bubble are weighted in within the specific algorithm. So this is the first concept that you need to understand, that it's basically a complex dictionary. There are a ton of words. It weighs the relationship and the connection between the specific words. The second concept that you need to understand is the following, that when you enter in a prompt, let's say the dog entered the house, what's in the house? When you enter in a specific prompt, there is what is called like an attention mechanism. And these attention mechanisms are basically what makes today's transformers natural language processing models so powerful, is that basically these models decide by themselves which words in a specific sequence of words are important. And it does so like it did so during the training, and it does so when you speak to it. So when you speak to ChatGPT, when you enter in a prompt, it doesn't read the dog entered the house, what's in the house. It takes all of these words. It still considers the sequence, but it takes all of these words and it starts defining what the important words of the sentences are. So in this case, it might consider the fact that the house seems to be the most important thing that we are looking in. And it would consider like the dog to potentially also be important because it's connected to what is happening with the house. So we would have object A being the house, and then what is connected to object A, it's object B via entered the, and like when you ask it what's in the, it will probably consider this the least important part of the sentence, that is like most likely just the figure of speech or the context of what we would require it to do, and it will like actually answer the question. The dog entered the house, like what's in the house? The dog is probably in the house. The dog is in the house. And these are the two concepts that you need to understand in order to know why this prompt is super powerful and why it's super important for you to use day to day when you're actually building your own prompt. So let's get back to the actual prompt. Okay, so this is basically what the prompt is. It's super simple, and it just tells the chat, just generate, give me an estimation of what the values by your own attention mechanisms are related to this input. So ultimately, the chat wouldn't necessarily, so the portion of the chat which actually spits out the output doesn't necessarily have direct access to like the calculations and the attention mechanism that are happening in the background. So much like you wouldn't be able to give the exact sequence of neurons that lights up in your brain when a person asks you a question, like in a similar way, ChatGPT won't be able to necessarily tell you, okay, like here is what's going on. It can only determine based on its estimates. And fact of the matter is that this prompt is sort of voodoo again. So most of the content that ChatGPT spews out is basically based on the information that it has been trained on. I would presume that there might still be some intrinsic relationship between like the way it spits out information based on its attention mechanism, and that it ultimately gives out like powerful information that we have here. But at the same time, you can never know. I have experimented a ton with different types of prompts related to its attention mechanism, and most of the time it was generic, it was like super estimaty, whereas like with this specific prompt, it actually it actually is quite confident each time when I ask it for specific inputs, and the results seem to be like quite exact with how ChatGPT works. But yeah, test it out. Let me know in the comments whether you found this video helpful. Do subscribe, as I will be releasing much more content related to pretty much business advice and of course advice about ChatGPT. But yeah, I will be talking a ton about human perception, branding, and like why us as a community, us as a society, we are a society, as a society, why we to tackle specific issues, why we are, how we define certain aspects of what the status quo is, what is creativity. We will talk a ton about this in the channel probably. But yeah, just subscribe for the channel, give me comments, give me feedback, as I would love to actually kickstart my journey here on YouTube, and share all the information that I have, everything that I'm experimenting with on the daily with businesses, because the reason why we prompt engineering needs to be exact is because businesses need the consistency in the quality of the different outputs. And ultimately, we want to be simple in the fact that if ChatGPT can't write us prompts, why it shouldn't be? And I'll actually probably create a standalone video on how you can use the attention mechanism context to help ChatGPT write more specific prompts based on like, and even give you advice about like the specific temperatures of DaVinci and so on and so forth. But thank you, Tom, for watching this video. Give me all the feedback that you can, and tell me what you found interesting about this specific prompt, and yeah, thank you again. See you in the next one.